Hello, Dr. Coker here, and this is the story recap of Bangkorai from the Elder Scrolls Online. This is the last zone in the Daggerfall Covenant storyline. Previously, in Alakir Desert, after you restore the Onse wards, King Faharajad tells you that the Reachmen have killed the king of Bangkorai, and they now plan to march on Evermore. You lend your aid, and this is what brings you to Bangkorai. When you arrive in Evermore, a spy confirms everything Faharajad said about the Reachmen. You speak to Sergeant Antive, who tells you that the Reachmen are invading on one front, while the Imperials are trying to gain control of the city on the other. Then he asks you to bring the head of one of the Reachmen named Strasnok to boost his men's morale.
I won't lie to you, friend. Things are grim. The king and his heirs are dead. Our forces decimated. Crows are everywhere. People have lost hope. Bring Strasnok's head to Captain Huron at the south gate. That'll be a big win for us.
Yeah.
You deliver his head to Captain Huron.
You have old Strasnok's head? Shows bones. Somebody buy this crazy bastard a cup of mead. If you like to cut off Reachman heads, you've come to the right place, my friend. Have you met Duke Renchant? The Duke will want to meet you.
You head to the Duke's castle, but just outside, the Queen's handmaiden Glarica wants to speak with you. She says the Queen has a few private requests for you. She's still in mourning, so the Duke is running the city's defenses, but she's concerned about some of his policies. You're asked to assess the defenses and check on a refugee who was put into stocks. You find the refugee and ask why they put him in stocks. He says it was merely because he warned everyone that the Imperial Army has conquered a city in southern Bangkorai and they're headed here next. After speaking with him, a strange crow speaks to you.
The people eye the north with fearful eyes, but it's from the south that the storm approaches.
Moving on, you look into the city's defenses. You speak to a former captain who's drunk at the tavern. He says the city is doomed and those in charge have refused outside help. He doesn't know why, but he suggests you speak to another crow at a nearby table.
When there's no knowledge in the tops of towers, check the bottoms of bottles.
Then you check out the city's east gate and find meager defenses, but you notice crates of supplies that came from a ship called the Byolze Queen. Then another crow speaks to you.
Great gifts often appear as a surprise, but sometimes the surprise should be spoiled.
After this, you report to the mourning queen. She says she trusts the Duke and did not ask her handmaiden to find help. The handmaiden is just overly suspicious, so instead you head to the Duke. You speak with him for a while, and after some persuasion, he reveals what's going on.
Hear me out. A few weeks ago, Imperial diplomats made an offer. They have a deal with the Reach. If we surrender the city to Imperial authority, the Reachmen cannot attack. Not only will we survive, but we'll also retain considerable autonomy.
You decide to check out the Byolze Queen ship next. A crow on the ship gives you a hint on where you might find a key to the hold. Instead, you intimidate the captain and get the key from her. In the ship's hold, you are attacked by Imperials, but after dispatching them, you find Glarica being held hostage.
I think perhaps I had our assignments wrong. I should have checked the stocks and sent you to check the ship.
After setting her free, you find a note that reveals that Imperial spies have already infiltrated the city. Glarica tells you the ship captain ran off in a hurry and suggests you spy on her. Following her, you overhear her speaking with Guard Captain Huron, who you brought Strasnok's head to earlier. They say things are going down within a few hours. You head straight to the Queen, who doesn't believe you until you hand over the note.
I can't believe what I'm reading. How could Renchant be such a fool? Has he given up on defending the kingdom and decided to accept the lesser of two evils? This is simply mad!
She decides it's time to step back onto the throne and take control of the city. She asks you to meet with Glarica and a loyal knight named Jarnot to root out the Imperial spies. Shortly after, you find that Glarica has been assassinated, and a crow next to her corpse speaks with you. The crow claims to be with the Reachmen and therefore your enemy, but nevertheless offers to partner with you in a temporary truce against the Imperials. So you wander the city eavesdropping on villagers, and when you find Imperial spies, you signal the crows to attack. Then in a back alley, you find a note from the Duke ordering Captain Huron to assassinate you. The moment you set it down, he attacks.
Roll! Roll if you can!
After defeating him, you head back to the Queen. She's pleased to hear you've dealt with the spies, but infuriated that Glarica was murdered. She wants to deal with the Duke swiftly and quietly, so you accompany her to the room where he's believed to be hiding. The Duke insists his plan was the only way to save the city, and you have to decide whether to arrest him or kill him on the spot.
Aemond died defending this kingdom, and you'll die for betraying it.
Moments later outside, she thanks you for your help, then a crow approaches that wishes to speak with you. The crow says she is Uela, the Hagraven leading the Reachmen. She says the Reachmen are coming to take the city and peck out the Queen's eyes. You turn to the Queen and tell her these talking crows are agents of the Reachmen.
So that's why all these crows have descended on the city? Gods, I knew it wasn't a coincidence. Fine, I'll give every guard a bow. I think it's time for us to do some bird hunting. First though, if you spoke to their leader, what did she say?
You tell her, then she asks you to help in the nearby town of Northglen. In Northglen, you're informed that the Reachmen led by Dureg just attacked and several scouts and guards are missing. You offer to help the wounded and find the missing.
You're no Reachman. Stendar's finally seen it fit to grant me a little mercy.
You learn that some of the Weird Sisters are holding Aelid ruins nearby, and they may serve as allies against the Reachmen. You enter the ruins and find that one of the scouts is here, but she has an unknown, incurable sickness. Wyrus Delphique tries to purge it, but she fails, and the scout turns into a zombie.
Well, that didn't go as planned.
She says it looks like the Dark Witnesses, a branch of Reachmen led by Dureg, are planning to turn the people of Northglen into zombies to aid them against Evermore. Despite all this, the Wyrus is hesitant to ally with Evermore's guard due to historic conflicts. She agrees to speak with the captain though, if you first prove yourself by bringing her Dureg's head.
You can't stop me!
After killing him, you find Isabeth, an Evermore guard and the captain's daughter. She says Dureg has stores of seeds that they use to turn people into zombies, and they must be destroyed. Returning to Isabeth and her father, you witness a very unfortunate situation. It's found that Isabeth is infected and the Weird Sisters demand that the captain kill his own daughter to secure their alliance. He of course refuses to do it, but Isabeth insists on being the sacrifice to secure the alliance, so the Wyrus does the deed.
Isabeth!
The Weird expect an alliance now after they murder my daughter in cold blood? They're lucky I don't have them all killed here and now.
You convince him by reminding him this is what she wanted, and he needs the alliance anyway. Then Wyrus Delphique says that to destroy the Dark Witnesses completely, you'll have to kill the Hagraven Uela. They can't pinpoint her location though, because of wards that mask her magic. You offer to travel to Jackdaw Cove to help destroy these wards. At Jackdaw Cove, you find Wyrus Freda, who doesn't trust you until you mention Delphique. She sends a younger Wyrus with you in the disguise of a wolf. Once the wards are gone, Uela appears as a crow and tells you you'll never find her because only crows would know where she goes. Moments later, the Weird Sister, no longer disguised as a wolf, explains that the crows are controlled by the Reachmen, but their true spirits are innocent, and you can try speaking with them in the nature realm. You decide to go along with this plan, so she sends you to the nature realm in the form of a wolf spirit. Asking around, you find them eager to help stop Uela, and you learn how to reach her. More wards have to be broken in the nature realm, then her lair can be found in the physical realm.
All right, the door should be open now. Go get me that heart.
To enter my dark,
I hope you're watching.
tear you apart, my crow.
Freedom! Freedom at last! And Uela dead! Dead!
Then you give Uela's heart to the Weird Sisters because they need it for a cleansing ritual.
It's your moment. Go ahead. Throw the heart into the circle.
The Wyrus appreciates you and calls you an ally. You return to the Queen, who is joyful over your accomplishments, defeating the Reachmen, the Hagraven, and saving Evermore. She then says the Imperial General Septima Tharn has requested a parley. In case this is a trap, she's got Darian with the Fighters Guild and Gabrielle with the Mages Guild, both in attendance.
Surprised to see me? Sounds like I already missed some interesting experiences. A Hagraven controlling crows? I want to see that. This business has potential too. Of course, our part only comes into play if there's trouble. Let's hope there isn't.
Ha! I thought we were in for a bit of easy coin with this job until the Queen said you were coming along. Now I know to expect danger. Bring it on, though. If the plan goes awry, that just means we get extra hazard pay.
Gabrielle then creates a portal to the Parley site, and everyone enters. You watch from a distance as the parley occurs, but it escalates and turns into an ambush.
Any faster, Gabrielle? The Imperials can. More portals opening up.
You manage to protect the Queen and escape through a portal. Back in the throne room, the Queen says the Imperials have already taken the Bangkorai Garrison. Then, with perfect timing, the High King Emmerich himself arrives to help.
Of course. And now you'll have some help. I brought as many Lion Guard as I could muster. We were hoping to spill some Reachman blood for old time's sake, but the Imperials will suffice. Are you ready to retake the garrison, then?
You agree to meet at Bangkorai Pass to prepare for battle. You speak with High King Emmerich outside the garrison, and he asks if you can sneak in through the sewers and open the main gate. The king says he'll hold the courtyard while you head to the barracks to free and arm prisoners to join the fight.
Commander Attias is down the hall. He tortured us. He needs to pay.
You speak with the king again, and he says next you need to go to the royal crypt. The dead king of Evermore is there and hadn't been buried yet when the garrison was taken. In the royal crypt, you find an Imperial necromancer up to no good, so you kill him. Back outside, you speak with the king and find that Molag Bal has dropped a dark anchor in the garrison, so you charge in to kill his Daedric minions.
Will soon be slain.
The garrison is ours! Mark my words, this victory will go down in the history books. This is the day the Empire began to crumble.
The Daggerfall Covenant reclaims the garrison. Then you speak with the queen outside. She relishes the victory, then supposes the High King will want to push south to liberate southern Bangkorai from the Imperials as well. You speak with the king, and sure enough, he's pumped and ready to take back Hallin's stand. For starters, he asks you to scout Hallin's stand to see if Septima Tharn is there. As you enter Hallin's stand, you speak with a local named Ama. She's seething over the Imperial occupation and says there may be a traitor in the city. She says resistance forces are gathered in the alchemist's shop. Still looking for Septima, you look around and find evidence that she's planning something at the Hall of Heroes. Moments later, a scout from the Bangkorai garrison tells you that the king is planning to attack soon. You go to the alchemist's shop and tell them Ama sent you. They say their leader Ufa is missing and refer you to Yara instead. Yara doesn't trust you, but she says she will if you bring them weapons.
Across the way is a guarded warehouse. If someone took weapons from there, it'd be a blow against the 7th Legion. And I hear the stable hand knows the people who need such weapons. Someone who did that, I could trust.
Whew, that was a bit of a warm-up.
The stablehand hints that the weapons would be useful in the town square and suggests you ask about a cat with red fur. You speak with peasants in the town square who thank you for the weapons and tell you the cat is missing. One of them pulls you aside and thanks you, then tells you to tell Yara that the red asp lives. You find Yara, who thanks you for arming the peasants. Then she's shocked but motivated to act when you mention the red asp. She asks you to find a woman reading a book at the tavern, as she may know the identity of the traitor. You find this woman reading a book and she asks you to wear an imperial disguise and follow her discreetly. She leads you to her home and is ready to talk. You learn from her and her husband that her husband is a traitor, but it's because the Imperials hold their daughter hostage and he'll do anything to get her back. He's not the actual traitor you're looking for, though. The situation seems hopeless, but outside, the peasant from earlier approaches and tells you that the Imperial Guard holding the child hostage is a coward. You find him sitting outside with the girl and easily intimidate him.
Fine, fine. Run, girl, before I change my mind. Now the guards will be back any second now. Don't think you can threaten me again.
Papa!
You return to the father and he thanks you, then gives you a key to rescue another hostage called the Grindea. You meet Yara at the alchemist's shop and update her, but suddenly Ufa, the leader of the resistance, walks in and says he's been following you.
You've been a great boon to the resistance. Once we have the traitor in our hands, we'll have all the pieces we need to assault the 7th Legion.
He gives you 3 names of people to find to aid in looking for the traitor. You find one of them already dead by Imperial hands. From the other 2, you learn that he's been using women in town, and you track down his current mistress. She's unwilling to reveal the traitor's whereabouts, so Ufa suggests you get a sedative from the Mages Guild while he talks to the mistress. You enter the Mages Guild and tell them Ufa sent you, and they hand over the sedative. Returning to the mistress, you learn she's agreed to serve spiked wine to the traitor, so you add the sedative to his wine. After a moment, you enter the room and speak to the drugged traitor. Believing he's been poisoned, he begs for an antidote and gives you the key to the Grindea's stocks before going unconscious.
Good. I'm free.
She tells you to light the watchtowers to begin the uprising. Then you rendezvous with Ufa outside the palace.
There's no time to waste. We must strike now, but the Imperials will have time to make preparations.
You begin by rushing into the palace to confront Sadas, the leader of the 7th Legion, who's casually sitting at a table alone.
Did you think I'd let anyone walk in here unchallenged? You are a fool, as are the rest of them. I'll enjoy watching you die.
I hope you're watching.
Instead, you were attacked by the traitor, and after dispatching him, you run upstairs and attack Sadas.
I'll make you an example to these dogs.
Once she's dead, you speak with Ufa outside. While you were in the palace, he led the armed peasants to engage in the city, and Hallin's stand is now free from Imperial control. The Grindea gives a rousing speech to her people and honors your key contributions, then thanks you personally. She says they will set to work rebuilding, and you ride off to check on the king. Outside the Hall of Heroes, you find High King Emmerich. He's ready to lead the charge against the last Imperial bastion in Bangkorai, and you are eager to join him. But suddenly, Septima appears, kills the guards, and abducts the High King. The scout approaches, and she witnessed everything. She suspects the king has been taken to a nearby encampment, as she has observed a lot of activity there recently. You set off to rescue the king while she rushes back to Evermore for reinforcements. You find a few clues around the camp that point to a place called the Chamber of Passage within the Hall of Heroes, so you head that way.
Move to flank!
Inside the hall, you meet the Keeper of the Hall, who tells you he failed to keep the Imperials out. When you ask about the Chamber of Passage, he says you have to earn the blessings of 3 dead heroes to enter. You fight your way to one heroic spirit and ask about it. He says to prove yourself, you must recover his stolen scrolls and place them on their pedestals. You find the scrolls abandoned in random locations in the hall, then proceed to the pedestals. Placing the scrolls in order, discipline, devotion, wisdom, and sacrifice, earns his blessing. Then he directs you to his son to earn his blessing as well. You find his son's spirit, and he tells you about his mother's sacrifice. To earn his blessing, you have to honor his mother by lighting 4 braziers in order: blue, white, red, and green. Then you earn the second blessing, and the spirit directs you to the 3rd hero for the final blessing. The third spirit tells you that Septima Tharn has strength, courage, and wisdom, but lacks one quality. You must choose one sword from 4, which represents this quality to earn her blessing. You hand her the simple training sword, saying Septima lacks true humility, and earn the final blessing. With all the hero's blessings, you head to the Chamber of Passage and meet the Keeper of the Hall outside.
Heroes? Gods, Imperials, who's in charge here? You! You've earned the blessings of the heroes, but blessings will only get you through the door. Are you really ready for what lies on the other side?
He says this is where heroes are sent to the afterlife, and he can't fathom what Septima is trying to accomplish here. You enter the Chamber of Passage, and right before your eyes, Septima Tharn murders the High King. She vanishes, and you tell the king you'll find a way to heal him.
You're a good friend, courageous and loyal, and all that. But you're a terrible liar. I just wish it wasn't that wench Septima that killed me.
You cross into the far shores.
I'll see you on the other side.
You find the king here in the afterlife, and Septima Tharn reveals her true purpose. She says you are the thread holding the Covenant together, and you are the vestige who escaped Cold Harbor with no soul. She lured you here to kill you away from Mundus so you could never return. Then the Keeper of the Hall appears and makes a deal with you. If you can slay Septima, he will return you and the king to Mundus. Once you dispatch her and her legion of restless spirits, the Keeper sends you back as promised. You witness the people mourning their king, and then suddenly he stands up.
So do I just climb back in? There. That was an experience I won't be forgetting anytime soon. I'd say that you went beyond the call of duty, but I think you went even beyond that. Of course, Septima was actually after you, wasn't she?
And that concludes the story of Bangkorai, as well as the Daggerfall Covenant storyline. From here, the story will merge with the main quest story, which I'll link in the description if I decide to make a video for that one. I hope you've enjoyed this series. Until next time.